Finding the right car buyer shouldn't depend on luck. It should be powered by data. Experian Automotive gives dealerships accurate, actionable data insights into their prospects and customers so you can reach the right consumer with the right message at exactly the right moment. Smarter targeting, stronger engagement, more sales. Better marketing starts here. Visit ExperianAutomotive.com for more information.
Welcome to Daily Drive for Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. I'm Kellen Walker in Las Vegas. Today on the show, Toyota invests $1 billion in Kentucky and Indiana for EV production. Porsche and Audi team up to cut costs as sales slump. And Zoox expands its robotaxi service to Austin and Miami. Plus, could AI agents eventually replace third-party vehicle listing sites? At least one startup thinks it's already happening.
Gone are the days of bait and switch. Gone are the days of advertising aggressively low prices that aren't true in reality. Agents really can level the playing field for the whole ecosystem, consumers and dealers.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry. Toyota is investing $1 billion at its Kentucky and Indiana assembly plants. The $800 million at the Georgetown, Kentucky facility will support production of the 2027 Highlander EV and a Subaru version, both launching this fall. The automaker also plans a third three-row EV SUV for late 2027, potentially wearing the Land Cruiser name. Another $200 million goes to Toyota's Princeton, Indiana plant to boost output of the Grand Highlander, one of the brand's fastest-turning vehicles right now. The investment is part of Toyota's $10 billion U.S. commitment through 2030. Porsche and Audi are cozying up out of necessity. The two Volkswagen Group brands are both facing declining sales in China and U.S. tariff pressure, so their CEOs are deepening cooperation between the brands to slash costs. Future Porsche combustion models will lean heavily on Audi platforms. The next Macan will be based on the Q5, while a new 7-seat SUV will derive from the Q9. Both brands stumbled recently, Porsche with an aggressive EV pivot that didn't pan out, Audi with a product offensive that underwhelmed. As one person familiar with the matter put it, they have no choice. Costs must come down significantly. And Amazon Zoox is expanding its robotaxi service to Austin and Miami. The company's robotaxis, with no steering wheel or pedals, have already carried 350,000 riders in San Francisco and Las Vegas. Zoox is also doubling its Vegas coverage and quadrupling its San Francisco service area. Meanwhile, Tesla's robotaxi ambitions continue to lag. Despite CEO Elon Musk's predictions of serving half of the U.S. population, Tesla remains limited to a geo-fenced portion of Austin. Waymo leads the sector with service in 10 metro areas. Joining me now to talk more about this is our own Lawrence Iliff, who's been covering the story for us at Automotive News. Lonnie, welcome back to Daily Drive.
It's great to be here.
So Lonnie, what's behind Zoox's ability to expand faster than Tesla right now? Is it technology, regulatory strategy, or is it something else?
I think they're just further ahead in general, right? They have been testing for several years, and they have the technology with radar and LiDAR and other sensors. And so they've been able to send in a fleet of test vehicles and then launch their dedicated, toaster style carriage seating, dedicated robotaxi, and expand, city by city. They started in Las Vegas, then they went to San Francisco, and now they're going to Austin and Miami.
Now, with Waymo in 10 cities and Zoox ramping up, where does this leave Tesla in the robotaxi race?
I think that's really like a critical part of this story is that it looks like Zoox, after kind of an early period of testing and trying things out and, doing, public rides, especially in Las Vegas, right, where they've been doing it for a while, since September, they feel like they're in a groove, right? So they, test, deploy, and move on to another city, right? And that's kind of the Waymo cycle, right? That's where Waymo started. They were like just kind of here and there, and then they started to accelerate into more cities. So Waymo's in 10 cities, it's going into 20. Zoox is going to be in 4 cities, but they're planning like another half dozen. And then Tesla's kind of stuck in Austin. Tesla has plans for 7 more cities in the first half of this year, but it's late March. So we'll see what's going to happen there.
As always, good stuff. Lonnie Iliff, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Coming up, a look at whether AI agents could eventually replace third-party vehicle listing sites. That's next on Daily Drive.
Are you a dealer creating a workplace culture your employees are proud to be part of? Applications are now open for the 2026 Automotive News Best Dealerships to Work For program. This isn't just an award, it's a chance to get real insight into what's working at your dealership and where you can improve. And we've expanded the categories this year, recognizing everything from technician experience and leadership development to AI enablement and employee retention. The registration deadline is April 17th. Find out more and apply at autonews.com.
Automotive consumer marketing is complex. Customer data is constantly changing. People move, email addresses change, loans end, leases expire, and vehicles are traded in. Without accurate and up-to-date data, you risk spending money targeting the wrong people at the wrong times. This is where Experian Automotive Marketing Solutions can help. Our solutions help dealer marketers find, reach, and retain customers for life. By leveraging powerful vehicle, consumer, and credit insights, Experian enables you to identify who is actively in the market before your competitors do. You'll know who is coming off lease, who is in positive equity, who is likely to purchase in the next 30, 60, or 90 days, and who is due for service. Activate our highly targeted automotive audiences, reaching in-market buyers, near-market shoppers, service customers, and loyalty segments with precision. The best part? Our measurement solutions connect your marketing efforts directly to verified vehicle sales, allowing you to measure real ROI, not just impressions and clicks. Better marketing starts here. Visit ExperianAutomotive.com for more information.
Welcome back to Daily Drive. I'm Kellen Walker. Third-party vehicle listing sites like CarGurus and AutoTrader have been around for decades, generating leads for dealerships and connecting buyers with inventory. But 2 pilot programs are testing whether AI agents could replace that model entirely, letting dealers connect directly with customers, potentially saving them tens of thousands of dollars each year. Automotive News retail tech reporter Mark Homer wrote about it on autonews.com. He spoke with our own Jake Neer.
Mark, welcome back to Daily Drive.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
This is a fascinating take on third-party listing sites and the direction that this is going. Let's start by having you explain what's actually new here. Third-party listing sites have been around for decades. What are CarEdge and CarGenius AI doing that's fundamentally different?
Basically, they cut out the middleman. The middleman would be the third-party listings companies. CarEdge uses an AI tool that started as a consumer tool to shop for vehicles online, and now it's being expanded for dealership usage in terms of the data it collects. CarGenius would use an AI tool embedded on a dealership website that would allow consumers and dealers to do the same thing.
Now, you mentioned that those pilots just started this winter. What kind of scale are we talking about? How many dealers, how many transactions, that sort of thing?
It's just starting for CarEdge, so it's just a handful of dealers at this point, but it'll expand over time. And CarGenius slated about 35 or so before their pilot.
Yeah, so early days for sure, but it is interesting to think about why dealers would be interested in this, especially because you report that the typical franchise dealer spends more than $500,000 a year on advertising. Break down how much of that is actually going to these third-party listing sites.
Well, according to NADA, it's about 21% of that average spend is going to the listing sites. And that's, money is money. If you can save it and be more efficient with it, why wouldn't you want to try it? I mean, at this point, it's early, but dealers are showing some interest in finding another way.
Well, you spoke with a lot of really interesting people that are involved in this, including Joe Lewis, who runs JC Lewis Mazda in Savannah. He's testing the CarEdge pilot. What did he tell you about his current costs?
He said basically he spends about $13 grand and change per month on third-party leads. And in February, that spend produced 29 sold vehicles. So they came out to about $471 per car sold.
If we didn't have to spend any money on marketing and or lead providers, now that opens up a door where we can start to discount cars more, give better deals, because we're not having to spend that money elsewhere.
I mean, that's a significant amount of profit that would otherwise go to him. Is that actually expensive compared to other lead sources?
Well, it's not that it's expensive. It's just that it's additional, I think, is a better way to look at it. And if you can streamline what you spend on these kinds of things, then again, why not? Because money matters and profit margins are always going to be an issue.
I'm curious if there's a risk for dealers here. I mean, in the article, you note that 56% of industry leads come from these third-party sources. If they pulled back these sites, could they actually be cutting themselves off from customers in some way?
At this point in time, the way the market is, absolutely, because they're still heavily reliant on third-party listing sites and they gain real benefit from it. What these two startups are bringing to the table is a new form of competition. So it gives dealers more choices and it gives consumers more choices in terms of how they want to find a vehicle. And so that's the immediate thing. Longer term, if these pilots are more successful, or if they show a real clear return on investment, savings in time, if they make customers happy, you're going to see a lot more of those. And so I don't know that you'll eliminate vehicle listings companies, but within the next 5 to 10 years, assuming these AI agents take off, you may see some consolidation and perhaps more than that.
Yeah. You know, Mark, I've every time I've bought a car in my life has been in the internet age, and vehicle listing sites have always, since the very first time I ever bought my first car by myself, listing sites have been around and honestly haven't changed that much, at least from my perspective. You still kind of go through the same process. It's still not totally clear whether the inventory is all up to date. You talked to Zach Shefska, the CEO of CarEdge, who told you that, quote, listing companies have been outdated for a long time.
One of the benefits for consumers of working with agents is the agent doesn't get tired. The agent will contact multiple dealerships, get you out the door price quotes, show you real transparent data. One of the benefits for dealers in the CarEdge dealer network is you get access to the same exact data. Gone are the days of bait and switch. Gone are the days of advertising aggressively low prices that aren't true in reality. Agents really can level the playing field for the whole ecosystem, consumers and dealers.
That's a bold claim, but what's his argument there?
It is, and it's the brassy attitude of a startup that we're going to change everything. And
sure,
they may ultimately be correct in that, but it's early and it's too early to tell. I mean, I think it's safe. They haven't had these tools yet, but it's important to also note that companies like Car Gurus and Cars.com are now aggressively adding their own AI tools embedded within their systems and their search engines to bring more efficiency to both dealerships and consumers who use those. So they're trying to keep up and they're trying to stay ahead of it. So too early to tell if it'll work, but so far they're holding steady.
And with my sort of personal critique that, sometimes you'll see a car that you like, it won't still be on the lot by the time you get to the dealership, that sort of thing. It seems like transparency and out-the-door pricing seem to be really central to these pitches. CarEdge, absolutely, that is central to their pitch. Is that something that traditional listing sites, that there is sort of consensus that they're lacking, or has there actually been improvement?
I don't know that there's a consensus, but there's an acknowledgement that consumers want more transparency. They want the take-home price to be clear. They don't want to know about extra fees. They don't want to have anything hidden in what they eventually pay. So that's one advantage of these AI tools, is it allows you to work on something directly with the dealership and negotiate something solid that you could go to the dealership and finish it, or you could do it online.
I am curious about the business model for these startups? I mean, they're all about cutting out the middleman and saving dealerships money. But how do they make money if they're cutting out the middleman?
Well, they're not making money yet. That's important to say. But the common model seems to be a monthly fee, basically as like a subscription model. For example, Zach Shefska, he's still beta testing, so there's no final fee yet, but you can get a clue from the AI tool that just consumers use. They pay $49 per month or $99 a year to access this agent to help them negotiate car purchases. Car Genius is also on the pilot stage, so there's no final fee, but they'll have like a startup, a free entry tier, and then there'll be various fees depending on how much level of service you want from the AI tool. So they're developing a plan, but those business models are untested at this moment.
So I gotta assume that pretty much all of the established players here see this differently than Zach Shefska of CarEdge. You spoke with Scott Painter at TrueCar. What is his counter argument?
He's probably the most candid. He just took TrueCar private, so he could speak a little more freely than a public company can. But he definitely sees AI agents as coming, but he sees everybody having basically a plate at the table, because they're going to need vehicle listing sites, he said, to access all their data. So it'll be like a symbiotic relationship, that there's room for everybody.
Did you see any evidence that AI agents are actually connecting to these platforms rather than replacing them?
It's hard to say, because with an AI agent, to make it search well, or to search anything, you set parameters. So you say, search these, don't search these things. For example, I spoke to a car customer named AJ, and he developed his own AI agent, and he set the parameters for the search for Reddit, where people post feedback and ratings of how they like the cars that they chose. And he did not use the listings sites at all. Another guy named Zach, who I spoke to for the same story, he developed his agent to use listing sites because he sees that data is crucial. So it all depends on how the agent is set. For example, the Car Genius tool will be embedded in the dealership. So it'll be dealership specific and have all that data at a keystroke. And so it'll depend.
Yeah, and of course, you mentioned AJ Stivenberg, who built that AI agent for just $25, and that negotiated with dealerships for him and saved him $4,200 on a Hyundai Palisade. For any listeners that missed that interview, it was fantastic. You can go check that out on the March 19th episode of Daily Drive. Now, Mark, just to leave off here, as we were saying here, there could be some middle ground. And you talked with a couple of experts who say that truth is probably somewhere in between completely replacing listing sites and just flopping. So do you think that that's likely? And what are experts saying about, this idea that AI will reduce but not eliminate demand for listing sites?
It's not an easy answer, because I think the parallels are probably true with something like the airline industry, which heavily consolidated. And after the telephone industry deregulated, it is now reconsolidated. So there's only a handful of players. I think listings companies they've been around 20 plus years. They have not really consolidated yet. AI agents are transformative enough that in the short term and medium term, they'll probably encourage some consolidation, where some of the ones that invest in AI tools or form partnerships with companies like Car Genius and CarEdge, they will do fine. The ones that don't adapt quickly enough will find themselves an acquisition target or not relevant. And it comes down to that.
Mark Holmer covers retail tech for us at Automotive News, and his piece is called Can AI Agents Replace Third-Party Car Listing Sites? Some dealerships are testing them. You can find that at autonews.com and in the pages of this week's Automotive News. Mark, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily Drive.
My pleasure. Looking forward to the next time.
That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Kellen Walker. Thanks to our own Lawrence Iliff and Larry Velaquette for their reporting for today's podcast. We also had reporting from Michael Gerster and Frank Volk of our sibling publication, Automobile Voca. You can get the latest news on retail tech, the state of the robotaxi race, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com. Come back tomorrow for a conversation with Toyota Motor North America COO, Mark Templin, who talks about how the automaker is navigating rising tariff costs and the conflict in Iran.
We've been very clear with our dealers and with the customers we talk to that we're not going to lead, we're going to follow the marketplace and we'll price to the market.
We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailydrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. And if you enjoy the podcast, remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.